Okay. This feels so weird. Hi, I'm Maria and welcome back to my channel. I can't even pronounce that. Okay, so let's just get right into it. So this is my 2-week update for post jaw surgery, post double jaw surgery. Obviously, do you hear that? I look very different and I sound very different because I'm really struggling to pronunciate my words. I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, so this is my 2-week update. I'm not going to be uploading this like on the day of 2 weeks because actually, oh my god, my voice! My official 2-week mark was yesterday. Today's Wednesday. And then I'm not going to upload this video for quite a few more days because I still have a few more like vlog-ish kind of videos from recovery to upload. It's just taking me some time because I have to transcribe all of those and it's just really hard to understand what I'm saying. And like I'm really busy with schoolwork and stuff, but I promise I'm trying to get those up for you, like, you know, in a timely fashion, because I know whenever I was following people's like jaw surgery experiences, I couldn't wait to see the next video. You're gonna see me look in this monitor a lot. I'm sorry. It's just gonna happen because I feel so strange, and I know I look so strange. And let me just say, like, I know that if I was watching this video from someone else's perspective, I would be like, yeah, her bite's fixed, but like, I don't think that I look, you know, in a way that, not a way that I wasn't expecting, because I was expecting to be very swollen and stuff, but just, I look really different, okay? So I guess I'll get into like the physical, like the outer appearance things first, because those are like way less important than what's happening inside of my mouth right now, because it's absolutely crazy. I got my splint off like less than 3 hours ago, so I'm still like struggling to like be like, what is this? Because you really don't, like, you really can't get a grip, do you hear this? A grip? You really can't get a grip on your bite and like this new kind of face and mouth that you have until your splint is out. Because I thought that I knew, and I was like, yeah, I can feel my bite, like I feel that I'm biting this way now, and like, or I guess it's that way for you guys, but it's really nothing compared to the feeling after you get your splint out. Anyway, I'll get into that in a few minutes. Let me talk about like my appearance so far and how it's developed over the last 2 weeks. So, obviously, okay, so if you're new and you haven't like looked at my other videos, first of all, I definitely recommend checking those out because I filmed the day of surgery and then days like after, leading up to this 2-week mark. As I'm sure a lot of you know, I had double jaw surgery, so they brought, and I had an underbite, so they brought my bottom back and my top forward, and used like plates and screws and stuff, whatever. I still haven't gotten a picture of my x-rays to show you exactly like the metal that's in my face, but I did get to see it the other day, and I have a line of plates going vertically down here and then this way and then down here too, and then I have a lot of screws everywhere else. And I think I mentioned this in another video, but he took out a lot more bone on this side down here to kind of rotate my jaw. And I still haven't gotten my exact measurements because there's one measurement that I'm missing. He brought my upper forward 4 millimeters and down 2, and then my bottom, I think, over 2, and then I'm not sure how much he brought it back, but I know it had to have been like you know, I'm assuming between 4 and 6. If it's more than that, I would be very surprised. But at the same time, not surprised. But yeah, so that's what happened for that. If you guys want, I can do a, whenever I'm like talking a little bit more normally and not like all weird, I can do a more longer video on my hospital experience with the whole thing, because I feel like I had a, I don't know, in some ways I feel like it was a lot better than most people, and then in some ways I feel like it was really bad. My nurse didn't know how to take care of me at all, and I was throwing up blood like a lot. You don't see any of that in the video because I was totally like incapacitated, and I didn't know where I was, and I would forget things, like if I had to get up to use the bathroom, which was very hard, by the way. I can talk about that in the video too. Yeah, if I had to get up, I would zone out, and then I would be like, wait, where am I? And I would completely forget where I was and stuff, which probably had a lot to do with anesthesia. But yeah, so I had a lot of different things happen to me, and I was also awake whenever I went into the OR. I know that that's not a super common thing. I actually was totally awake, and I had to get on the operating table myself and like adjust my head under their big light and stuff. It was pretty crazy. But I can talk about all of that in another video if you guys would like. I know that if I was, you know, researching and stuff, I would want to hear about that kind of stuff. So let me know if you'd like to see that, and I can do that. Okay, so back to my physical appearance. I've been trying to get to this point forever, and I just keep going off on a tangent because I'm just so excited. So they moved my upper forward and my bottom back, so I can put a comparison shot to how I looked frontwards right here. So here is it, and remember I have like shadowing from the light coming in from the window, so that might distort it a little bit, but okay. And here's my side profile, and here's the other side. So the biggest differences to me, and I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure that these are the biggest differences that I think other people would see too, is my nose is turned upright more. And if you've watched like my videos pre-surgery, I talked a lot about how scared I was about my nose changing, because, you know, I liked my nose. I liked my whole face before, actually. Like, and I can get into this in another video too, but, you know, I was very happy with the way that I looked. Okay, yeah, I got made fun of in high school and middle school a lot because of my jaw. Like, people would call me the crimson chin and, you know, all these things. And like, I would hear that people would talk about me behind my back about my jaw, which I didn't really, you know, for like the longest time I didn't understand why they were doing that, because I really didn't see anything significant about my face. I always knew that I looked a little bit different, but it wasn't until like I really started to like develop that I caught on, like, you know, my bottom jaw is like really out here compared to other people's. It was just kind of always a normal thing, because my two brothers who I lived with for the majority of my childhood also have very bad underbites. So it was like normal until around high school, and then I started to catch on. And of course I got like super self-conscious about it, and I hated it. There would be times, even when I was younger, that I would sit in like elementary school and like try to push my jaw back. And I would be sitting in class like pushing as hard, which is probably not good for your mouth, don't do that. But I'd push as hard as I could to kind of try to reverse my bite. And so just like things like that. And I always used to say like I look like a moon, like a half moon, or like a crescent moon, I guess, is that what it's called? Or like a banana, because my face would kind of go like this. And because it was so sunken in the middle. And yeah, it was a problem. Like, of course, I'm sure any of you guys watching with an upper bite, cross bite, overbite, you know, there is always going to be that some level of like insecurity about it. But at the same time, I felt very like confident in myself and like good about how I looked. Like, I didn't think, you know, I didn't think I was like the most beautiful girl ever, but like I felt good about myself and enough to exist. But if I had the chance to change it, which I did, I would take it, and I did. I don't think, and this is still me saying this after having gone through the miserable, absolutely miserable recovery, and I said this before I even had the surgery, if it wasn't going to affect my health and the way that I functioned, you know, pronunciation, I like how I'm saying I couldn't pronunciate before, and now here I am like, I'm gonna do that so many times. So yeah, like pronunciation, eating, just the clicking and the pain and the locking, which a lot of the major problems didn't come out until after I got my braces on, which is after I had already committed to the surgery. But my teeth would have ended up going and becoming what they were with my braces, and just have gotten worse. And I was not going to be able to be a 40-year-old like having a bite like that, because you know, you can't eat. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Okay, you know, you can't eat a sandwich or like a piece of pizza without, you just can't. And like saying words, like I'm sure like my family and my friends hardly ever noticed a difference because they were so used to it. But I can see myself like watching tapes back over like my YouTube videos and other things that like I had a really bad pronunciation problem because of that. And I can already tell, even though I'm like having this weird problem right now with my muscles in my face and stuff with saying words, that problem is gone. And it just feels so much different to be speaking and stuff. But anyway, I don't even remember like what my point was, but if this wasn't going to have affected my health and my functionality of a human for the rest of my life, I wouldn't have gotten the surgery done. If all that was gonna happen was I get a smaller jaw, or like my banana shaped face, as I called it, would be fixed, I wouldn't have gotten it done. It's just not worth like putting my body and everything through that stress. And because honestly, I had learned how to work with that face and exist happily with that shaped face, that in a way, oh my god, I'm gonna cry again. Like, I miss that face. I'm so happy with how things are now, but yeah, it's just a very strange thing. A few days after surgery, I made a post on my Instagram story and on Facebook, and I kind of like broke the news in a way to some people, because for the most part I had kept the surgery very quiet. I told like my close friends, and that's basically it. I told some coworkers because I was having to take off a lot of work, so it kind of like everybody figured it out, and like a few other people, but like Not a lot of people knew, and I did that on purpose. And if you are in your stages of getting your surgery, where like you're not super close to it, if you're not super close to getting your surgery, I would recommend considering doing what I did. Of course, I'm very different from you probably. You know, we're all different in how we're gonna handle the surgery and the aftermath and everything. But I know that by kind of not telling anybody, and then I took about like 2 weeks before surgery to not go out and not hang out with my friends and not see anybody. That really helped me to be able to do the surgery. And like I can tell you, like whenever I was moving my body from my hospital bed onto the surgery table, I was chill. I was like, cool. And I think part of that was shock and like denial, but it was because I had taken the time to like really like self-reflect and be at peace with the fact that basically like not mourn, because I wasn't sad about it or anything, but in a way mourn my bite and like mourn the way that I ate. You know, it sounds so weird because it's like, oh yeah, chew. For like a normal person with a normal bite, me now, it sounds like, what's the problem? Like, how different is it to chew? It's really different. And the separation that you feel back here and just the looseness that you feel in here constantly is just like, you can't explain it to somebody who hasn't experienced it. So I kept quiet about it, and I had mentioned in my post whenever I was like breaking the news to everybody that I had gotten the surgery, and then I had mentioned in there, you know, something like, please don't say that this was a cosmetic surgery, because it wasn't. And you know, I wish I could send this video to everybody that I've ever known, who would ever have any opinion about me and having the surgery, but obviously that's ridiculous. But it's just really hard to explain. And I know I'm like going off on a tangent right now, but it's like in my mind, so I might as well say it now, because this is like something that you're probably gonna have to deal with and stuff. But like, and you're probably currently dealing with, how do you explain to someone, after willingly subjecting yourself to a surgery that completely transforms the from here down of your face to make it more aesthetically pleasing, because that's what the surgeons say is going to happen, and then you obviously care so much about how you look, because you know you're gonna basically get a new face, and so you want to look good after. Of course you want to look better than you did before, and you get so excited because your surgeon's telling you all these things about how good you're gonna look after and all this stuff, and you're like, yes, this is what I want, like this is it. And then feel like you have the right to say to other people looking from the outside in, like, don't say this is a cosmetic surgery because I didn't get it for cosmetic reasons. When it's true. Like, I was so, yes, I hated the way I looked sometimes. Yes, I sometimes hated the way I looked. Yes, I never took pictures from the side, ever. I would never, and forget about posting a picture from my side profile, ever, okay? But I was still like, I was good with that, you know? Like, it's so much more than that on like a whole other level that you can't imagine unless you've experienced it, when your mouth, there's just something, I'm gonna cry again. And yeah, my bite didn't And yeah, my bite didn't get extremely bad until I got my braces on. But even before that, I can literally remember being in like 4th grade. I'm gonna cry. And I don't want you to think that these are like, I'm like crying out of like sadness. I'm literally crying out of joy because I'm so happy that it's fixed. But I can remember being in like 4th grade and sitting in class, and at that point I still kind of like didn't realize what was happening and like didn't realize that I had a deformity. And I literally hate talking about this because I sound like woe is me, feel bad for people with underbites or overbites or crossbites because we have such a hard life. No, it's just like, it sucks. So, you know, it sucks. There's just something in your head, like it might not even come to your conscience, but there's just something there that's always there, that even whenever I'm falling asleep at night, or whenever I was falling asleep at night, there's just something that's off, you know? And it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like acupuncture. I can't even pronounce that. But basically, it's like if you prick like one part of your body somewhere, and then it can trigger something else in your other, like in your foot, or like you pinch your foot and it'll relax up here. I don't know. It was kind of like that, where this was so, and it looked good, it looked fine from the outside, and it just had to do with the way my body was, you know? Something here just wasn't right, and my brain knew that. And so it was always there. I could be literally doing anything. I could be singing. I could be drinking from a water bottle. I could be yelling out on the soccer field to a teammate. I don't know. And there was just something always there. And it wasn't crippling, and it wasn't horrible, and it wasn't painful or anything like that. But it was just always there. That is exactly the reason, the biggest reason why I agreed to have the surgery, because I wanted to see if that feeling would go away. And sometimes I almost wasn't sure if it was because of this, because that sounds weird for like, you know, your bone to like be doing that, but it is true. I mean, it happened because today, biting down, oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Biting down, I have never felt more like myself. And in the strangest way, because in a way, I'm still looking back at the old me and being like, oh, like I miss that. But I don't really miss that. But in a way, I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, I feel whole. And it's the strangest thing, because how can your mouth affect that so much? But I feel like that I'm here. Like, I don't know how to explain it. If any of you have ever had the surgery, please let me know if you understand what I'm talking about, because I sound like a crazy person. But basically, my point is, I don't want you watching this, if you haven't gotten your surgery, and even if you have, I don't want you to feel bad about caring about your looks during the process. You know, because this, while it isn't a cosmetic surgery, everything about how this is going to change your life matters. And the physical aspect is one of the biggest ways. So you have the right to care about the outcome and be excited if you think you're going to look good. And I'm at the point now where if I hear that somebody says, like, oh, Maria got plastic surgery, or whatever people are going to assume, I did. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I did. And I feel great, because not only do I think that I look great, I mean, I know I don't look like the best right now, but because of all this, but because not only do I think that I look great, but I feel whole for the first, oh my god, I'm gonna cry! But I feel whole, ow, I feel whole for the first time in my life. So if you want to think that me getting plastic surgery to look better is what's making me feel that way about myself, then good for you and good for me. Because honestly, there's nobody else that's going to experience the feeling of you biting down for the first time. Not even on food, just like biting down. Like, there's nobody else that's gonna feel that feeling. And there's nobody else that's gonna have your brain throwing a fiesta in your head because you're so happy and you don't know why. I mean, like, you know why, but like, this is like a weird happiness that like you've never felt before. And like, why is your brain doing this? You know, so, and there's nobody else that's going to feel that. So, you do you. You do you. Okay, so moving on from my an hour-long rant that just happened. And now I'm congested because I was crying. Cool. So let me finish talking about my physical appearance. Hopefully I can get through the rest of this thing without going off on an emotional tangent. So, let me move closer. So, okay, so like I was saying, my nose is upturned more. It's definitely not bad at all to me. It's new and it's very different, but I think I'm gonna definitely be able to get used to it and really like it. In a way, it's almost smaller, and then in some ways it's bigger. It's like very strange. From the side you can really see how much it's turned up because it used to go down, and my surgeon said that during the upper jaw surgery they have to split the septum, and then they also shave off a piece of the septum, and depending on how much they shave off of the septum, that determines how much your nose is going to lift up. And he said that he did very little for me. He did it, but very little, which thank God. And also another huge factor is, I'm not sure exactly what he calls it, something like a bilateral something stitch, but it's basically like a stitch that they do somewhere around here. And I'm wondering if it's the stitches that are up in there, right there, but I don't know. I'm letting you know that because if you're worried about your nose changing too much, maybe you can mention that to your surgeon and be like, hey, are you gonna do like whatever stitch it is that kind of, you know, prevents my nose from, you know, turning upright too much? My surgeon said that there are actually a lot of surgeons who don't do the stitch out of laziness, out of inexperience, out of just I don't know what. But yeah, so that's like a thing. So make sure you ask about that if you're worried about that. Okay, so other physical changes. My cheeks are, I don't know if you can see. There's still a lot of swelling and fluid in here, but I can tell that they're definitely gonna be a lot fuller than they were before. I mean, my resting cheeks before were basically like concave, okay? It's so weird seeing this. Aside from like anything else and the feeling and the pronunciation, it is just so weird. The first time I looked in the mirror, I was like, I was speechless, like not good or bad, just like, I just didn't know what was going on. It was just so crazy. And right now, it kind of looks like my upper is being a little bit more obnoxious, and that has to do with like the swelling. And over the next week to 2 weeks, my teeth are gonna adjust and kind of like shift into place with how they're naturally, you know, want to be. So I mean, as much as they can with having the braces on, you know, which isn't much. So it'll definitely be like less obnoxious like once I have my braces off and everything is kind of adjusted, because I'm still like really struggling to not really judge how I look and how I feel and the whole thing right now, because it's not, you know, not even, you know, it's been 2 weeks since I had a major surgery, and I'm expecting, like, I don't know, I'm not expecting it, but like I shouldn't be even thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna look good, or oh yeah, I'm gonna look bad, or like this bite feels uncomfortable, or any, well, that kind of thing you should be worried about. But you know what I mean, like it's just like way too early to be judging. And this is another thing that is kind of important to the update. So I feel like a lot of people that I've watched on YouTube and like blogs that I've read, they like have a really hard time within like the first 1, 2, and 3 weeks, especially the first 2 weeks, with like an identity crisis kind of thing, and almost kind of like regretting the surgery, and you know, be that kind of like the physical appearance, and then also being frustrated with not being able to eat, which still not able to do that, by the way. And just the whole thing, because it is horrible. Like, it's absolutely horrible. I can get into that more in like my hospital video, but yeah, so I can understand why people like have a really hard time with it and have a lot of breakdowns and cry a lot, but I don't know, I haven't had that. I haven't had like any kind of identity crisis, I don't think. I haven't had anything, and I don't think it's because, you know, I don't place all my value on my looks, because I don't think those people did that either. I think it's just the way you look is a major part of who you are, and so having it change and having to go through the physical like turmoil that you do the first, especially the first week, but even now it's still like, it sucks. You just can't function the way you want to, and it just never goes away, because it's not something like, you know, it's not a rubber band you have on your brace. Well, for some of us it is, but it's something that you're stuck with until your body decides that you're not stuck with it anymore. But yeah, I haven't really had that, and I wanted to just mention that. I don't know, maybe you guys find that interesting, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I kind of cut myself off from like the world, not to like an extreme, but and I kind of, ooh. Okay, so that was unexpected. That is another point that I was gonna be making. Let me finish my statement before. Let me finish my thought from before. I think my point, I think a big reason why I didn't struggle too much with all of that, and like being depressed and being upset and all this stuff and feeling like not pleased with everything, is because I really mentally prepared, like on another level. Like, I don't know if anybody really does this that often, as far as like mentally preparing, but I really did. Like, I would go on walks and just, you know, talk to myself about it. Probably seem kind of crazy, but you know, and yeah, and I think that that was a huge factor, and I can talk about that more in another video if you want. But yeah, so, okay, so let me just talk real quick about what just happened to me. I've been having these spasms ever since I woke up from surgery. For quite a few days in the middle of my recovery between surgery and now, the spasms kind of went away. And keep in mind, I've had my splint in this whole time. This was my first spasm outside of the splint. But basically, it's where I'm talking, I'm eating, I'm singing, I'm literally just sitting here, I'm cleaning my bathtub, I don't know, and my bottom jaw will jut forward. And it doesn't jut forward in like a way that's gonna like stay there. It kind of just, it like kind of says, let's go, and then my like, you know, all the work that I just paid for stops it from doing that. And I think it's because I had a very loose underbite, and I'm sure a lot of you with underbites know, like, where your jaw is sitting right now, it could probably come out a lot further. And so I was used to kind of finicking with that during doing homework, eating, and everything. I was used to using that as like, not just like a nervous habit, but also as like a tool when speaking. And when eating, I would use it as a tool, and I'm not able to do that. And so my brain just kind of tries to do it out of habit. My surgeon, I did talk to him about that today, and he said it should go away, especially now that I'm out of the splint, because I'm going to be able to, you know, my brain will feel like a little bit more comfortable with being closed in this position now that it can feel all the other teeth and stuff. That's been like an interesting little thing that's been happening. Okay, so there's not like a whole lot to update in this video because I did post like a lot of daily updates on my swelling and my pain and my diet, but I can just kind of go over that really quickly. So I'm obviously still very swollen. My cheek, I feel like this area isn't too bad. I mean, it's probably going to go down a lot more, but it's not super bad. And this is a little bit puffy right down here. I was definitely more swollen on this side, and I had a hema something, I don't know what the word is, for like a bruise, a blood situation going on right here. But that's gone by now. I used heat on it after around like day 4. I started using heat on it, and it disappeared within a few days after that. Yeah, all my swelling there is gone. It's pretty much right here. It's really obnoxious still, especially right here. Okay, so numbness. So whenever I first woke up, I told you guys that I basically was numb all the way around here. Well, I now have feeling on this side of my nose, and I'm basically, okay, so split my face down the middle, of course not including this part, and then split it like this. So like you see a triangle here, and that's where I'm having problems. I say I'm having problems because I'm not entirely numb in a lot of the places. Like under my eye, there's a little something going on, right? And then right on the edge, a little something going on. My nose, there's a little something going on. And definitely on my lip. I can't even feel here. What's so strange is that inside of my lip, I'm so numb too. But on this side, I'm not, which is very strange. My palate is still pretty numb, especially once I got the splint off today. A lot of the ridges that you naturally have it's like swollen and like smoothed over, so I don't have any ridges, and it hurts when they're coming back. Because I already had like one try to come back, and it was not fun. But yeah, and when I press here, it'll have an area like right here. I think this is where like a screw is, but I get kind of like spider leggy web situation feeling happening around here. So I think that this is definitely going to come back within, I'm guessing, the next week based on how this heals up. And yeah, I'm definitely not expecting to have any permanent numbness. My surgeon like said from the get-go, like he never has anybody have permanent numbness. And he did a really, really good job of not cutting my nerves, because when I woke up, I was in so much pain. And that's because he didn't cut a lot of nerves. He was able to, like, you know, save some, which was why a lot of jaw surgery patients don't ever experience any pain and just uncomfortableness, because a lot of the times, you know, you get nerves cut and damaged. But I got lucky slash unlucky, but I'm happy about that in the end, because I would have rather dealt with the pain for a few days and then be able to be eating like mashed potatoes like I am now. Here's another really interesting thing about my situation. So, as you guys probably know, I wasn't wired or rubber banded shut from the beginning. I have never had a rubber band on through this whole process. Never, like not even before surgery. I've never had a rubber band like for my mouth. And my surgeon just apparently tends to not do that, because he just doesn't see the point. And especially with me, like he wasn't worried. He said like this surgery was made for my kind of case, and he felt very confident and the results are going to be fabulous, and he wouldn't have to worry about me staying in line or anything. And I was like, are you sure? And yeah, he didn't rubber band me, and I'm really glad he didn't, because I'm able to open my mouth a lot compared to, you know, anybody else, honestly, at 2 weeks. Like, you know, a lot of people still are rubber band shut at 2 weeks. A lot of people still have their splint in, which I had my splint in earlier today. But some people have their splint in for like 6 weeks, or their rubber band shut for like 6 weeks. And I've been talking, you guys saw, I've been talking since I woke up in the hospital. My battery's about to die, so I kind of have to wrap this up. But really quickly, let me show you how much I can open. And that's about how much I can stick my tongue out. Not a whole lot. Definitely better than it was like earlier. And yeah, what else did I need to talk about? Pain. It's not really painful anymore. When I wake up, it's like the worst time of the day ever. And that's just because my muscles are cold, my nerves are like asleep and all this stuff. I would say definitely be prepared for that. Even if you are pretty numb, you might experience some pain like that. I've started to have some pain in my joints and like just like like soreness, because I'm talking more and more and more. And after, you know, staying shut, relatively shut for 2 weeks, my mouth is like, slow down there. What else? I don't know. If I forgot anything, I'll put it down in the description box. Oh, really quickly, let me talk about my pronunciation. So, my brain like doesn't know how to talk apparently, and it'll come back, but it might take a little bit, but I'm sure it'll be fine, hopefully. Yeah, my tongue is like not used to fitting in such a small place and it's just very confused, okay? And a lot of it has to do with my muscles up here too being stiff, so I'm not able to really use my upper lip. But yeah, I can't pronounce like the TR sound, like trick or treat. I've been practicing that. Trick or treat. Yeah, can't do it. And yeah, that was something that I wasn't expecting, but it's very strange. And also, since I got my splint out and I don't have a guard there anymore, and because my upper jaw is moved forward more, my braces are rubbing really bad on my skin. I'm about to go put wax on them right after I'm done filming because it's like really hurting. But yeah, my skin is like, you can see, I even have a sore right there. It's like so gnarly. I still have stitches all down here. They're slowly dissolving. My stitches up here are like not anywhere near dissolving, and this is like the most painful area of it all. And then I have a bunch of stitches back here, and I shine the light back there like every night to like clean and make sure everything's okay. And it literally looks like hamburger meat back there. Like I'm like, I can't believe I did that to myself. Like I subjected myself to that. I have incisions like all around, and then like in the like almost basically like down my throat, like underneath my tongue I have incisions. And I'm like, how did they not choke me? It's so freaky to think about, like, after the fact. Since I really can't think of anything else to update you on, even though I'm pretty sure that I have a lot more to update you on, I'm just like forgetting everything. I'm gonna try to do another update video if there is something like big dramatic change. Let's hope by then I'll be speaking correctly and look a little bit more normal. I still feel like I look like a who. I guess that's it. Check back soon if you wanna see like if anything else changes, and I'm really glad that some of you are appreciating the videos that I'm doing, because I'm doing it because they helped me so much in preparing for surgery, so I just want to pay it forward. So yeah, I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!